Okay, so before we get started, uh, this is going to be a very weird and interesting video, but also a very sad one. Um, I'm going to have to be careful what I do say on this video because of the situation. And let's be real, YouTube is very trigger happy with censorship, to say the least. But I do want to talk about it because it's kind of something that does like I can somewhat see a relatment towards me, although this situation is very nutty. Plus, also, I really do want to talk about it because it's very fascinating to me. However, if you want the full contents, that isn't butchered the f out of itself, because let's be real, I'm going to probably do a bad job at explaining this, which is why I'm going to be the most serious, but also the most careful. I recommend the video down in the description down below. I'll also make a comment on the video that you can find and pinned it where you can find the whole thing of yourself. I'm just going to give you the clip note version. And honestly, I want to put my thoughts into this. Note, I'm also not going to go into too much details of this because it is a very interesting situation. And honestly, I'm going to at least just talk about my personal point of this situation as well, to say the least. At least one point, not like my thoughts on the whole thing and situation and all that. Um, I'll try, by the way, but I might do kind of But to get to the point here, and sorry for the long intro. As kind of the video suggests, because I don't think I can even put it in a freaking title card or a title, but you can find a video down below for this. Apparently, the Cookie Run series is in a very awkward position because yeah, you would think the last thing I'll be talking about is Cookie Run, which yes, I actually am aware of the series. I actually do watch videos on it. I don't play the games because I don't think I play mobile games anymore. I mean, I'm more a standard video game. I have played all Zoo Lane, but really, and Pokemon Pocket, but eh. But the reason why this is so important is recently they wrapped up a story arc that was pretty much important and leave into a next generation of things. And let's just say people were not happy. To give an explanation while going into for spoilers of the story, not because I don't care about spoilers, it's just the fact that really it's just like it has to be short and sweet because there's other things that people are upset with the update of that game. Apparently, a character by the name of White Lily Cookie had to destroy her darker self, but in the process, she was one in the same, so she too had to make a sacrifice in that situation, which is a common thing seen in media, believe it or not. Because that is always a sort of thing that usually pops up now and then. And people who really are into the series did not like that. And they were pretty upset with this situation because everyone's like, no, and all that thing. With this whole cookie thing. And it is very interesting. A lot of people were upset with this. It's a whole can of worms. But recently, as shown in the video I'm showing you, which again, I highly recommend it because it does a much more better job of explaining this. Apparently, after that update was released, someone made a Twitter thing, or a freaking post on Twitter stating that their sibling has off themselves because they wanted to go see White Lily Cookie. Now, it's worth noting, as pointed out in the video, which I actually highly believe in this scenario, because once they're sure, never trust too much of the internet. Yeah, this seems like a joke comment, to say the least. Like someone literally putting laughing emojis in said thing. And like, yeah, my sister killed herself. She jumped off a building doing freaking dumpster diving into concrete or some bullshit. Like, it really is like that comment, by the way. Just to clarify, I'm not making a joke about it. It's just that's what that whole post is about, I think. Which, don't get it twisted, it's still a fucked up post no matter what, because that's something you don't really joke about. That's not an easy idea to say. And as inspected, people justifiably ripped it a new one. Like all the way, like call me daddy kind of thing, because holy hell. However, they also ripped a new one at the developers of the game, Cookie Run Kingdom. And again, I'm not going to make a comment on that situation all the way, although I will say it's not the first time this situation has happened before. I will say that I don't know why um, people are truly blaming the developer when in the end it's just the story they wrote as such. But that's the only thing I'm going to comment on, because I do agree the developers should not be dragged in the mud for that. There are other reasons why that's more but okay to drag them in the mud for, but that's not one of them. They're not responsible for someone wanting to end their life. Um, but again, that's not what this video is about, because honestly, I just think the whole situation outside of this one bubble thing, because this is just one major thing that overshadows the rest of the controversy of people hating that update, which is just, it's kind of ironic because it's similar to like how people hate Pokemon right now, to say the least. But the reason why I'm making this video is when I heard this situation, I was like shell shocked and kind of to say the least. Because, yeah, this has got to be. Again, I hope this is a joke. Just to clarify, it is theorized that this was a joke, but if it wasn't, then yikes. But the reason why I'm making a video about this is really the answer in the lesson here is don't do suicide in general. Like, it's not worth it. Or don't even attempt to try to do suicide. The reason why I say that is, if you guys don't know, I myself was once suicidal in most cases. Because, back in the very beginning, like, you guys even probably know that if you remember way back at the very early stages of my YouTube, where I was immature and really is something of, not really knowing my own thing. Like, I literally did multiple times. And to be fair, there's a lot of factors to that. Back then, I was in a very dark place in my life. In fact, believe it or not, I was in a dark place for multiple times in my life. And, I have actually attempted suicide before when I was very young, when I went back into foster care, believe it or not. And, my way go-to thing, which is why I don't have it in my house no more. Well, I think is, bleach, because I have actually drunken bleach and survived to tell the tale multiple times, mind you. That's only because I know the whole thing involving bleach throwing up and all that gobbledygook. So I have done this type of thing before. Now, I am not suicidal anymore because, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that's probably a bad way to put it, kind of way, because it will follow you. But I am in a better place right now, to say the least. I mean, I got a job that I'm getting ready to go to after I release this video, of course. And, I'm in a very comfortable position. I mean, I'm playing fucking Switch 2, baby, and all that gobbledygook. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is, and alongside that part, is really, I won't, I don't want to be because I have seen how people handle this kind of thing, to say the least. But the main thing, and I'm sorry if I'm stuttering because this is a very serious topic. Like I said, it's best not to do it. It's best not to do it because I know there's probably someone, I know there's always the thing of don't do it. You have so many people to love you, blah, blah, blah. But that's kind of a very kind of tricky way to say that. I mean, that is probably true. I'm not saying that it probably isn't wrong, but that is tricky to say, especially if you don't know why the person is committing it. to say the least, because it's very much, it's a very tricky situation. No one knows what goes on through people's heads that much when it comes to it. And this is one of those scenarios because, um, really, why would someone do this? Were they truly in a very seriously sad state? Because there have been times when that happened, and the only advice I can give is not to do it, and just keep going. Like, just keep going. I mean, because you'll get better in many ways. Like, for example, I have, like, through multiple ways. I mean, I went through a hell last year, despite also being one of the best years of my life. I just lost my mom last year, of course. Which, I feel better. I'm confident saying that now. I'm not like going to be boo-hooing anymore. But it does hurt. It really does still hurt. I mean, that sounds hypocritical, but really, I'm not going to let that drag me down. In fact, she would want me to let that drag me down, of course. She wanted me to be happy. And it took me a while. It really did. It took me a while because there has been some hiccups. I'm not even going to lie about that. I have some days, I have some hiccups, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of finally learned to keep going. Like, everything will work out in the end if you do take control of your life, to say the least. It's hard to do because really not everything you can do, you can't take control. I mean, it is a force of fucking nature, so you're not going to be able to do so. But take one step at a time, to say the least. Because honestly, doing it is not very fun. Even if you do survive with it, the way they handle it, at least in America, is safer here. But the way, even in America, they handle people with this type of thing, it's not fun, to say the least. Because again, I went through it. There was one point where I actually went into rehab, and that place was like to say the least. Then, of course, also you gotta do a 9-10 hour watch of Crazyville. I mean, again, not trying to criticize because at least in America, it's much more safer because trust me, it's even illegal in many countries. By the way, if you attempt to do suicide in a country, they'll probably put you in jail. That's not a lie. But even then, it really isn't worth it. It really isn't worth it because while I may not know what your situation is, I'm kind of one of the living proofs that even though I'm probably still in a place, to say the least, I don't know how bad my situation. I am in a better spot. I have a job now that I kept for 1 year now, which is a super record. In fact, I love this job so much that I hope to keep it for more than just even 2 years. I'm pretty much solid. I'm happy as a clam. There has been some days where I'm like, and have like mental, kind of like sad, depression, mental stuff. But I always try to think of the positive and stuff. And really, all in all, just keep going, like, to say the least. And my message may not work. My message may not work. I'm not freaking Markiplier or anyone. And again, I may not be doing it right, and I do apologize for that, to say the least. But this is kind of a serious situation as well. Especially also, if this is true, and if it is true, I'm not trying to blame the victim here all the way. I do apologize if it comes out like that. But really, you're gonna kill yourself over a character dying in a video game? Like, again, there has to be multiple to that. That's why I'm trying to be careful with saying that. But that is kind of a weird way to go out, to say the least. And yeah, it's a very complex situation. It's a very serious situation that needs to be truly addressed and stuff. And I really, you know what really hate me, and this is the last thing, by the way. It pisses me off that YouTube is censoring this shit, to say the least. Like, not even just full on demonetized. I don't know if this video is going to get up or get me in some serious trouble, especially since I'm not even showing it. I'm just discussing it. But, seeing the video I'm even showing, which I still recommend because it does a better job here, although, yeah, but still, the fact that they're even censoring people who are trying to tackle this and tell the obvious don't do it is really fucking annoying. Like, I understand they want to keep it safe, but that's not keeping it safe. That's actually blocking a important message, to say the least. I mean, that's probably the only rant I would go on, to say the least, because YouTube should not be censoring people saying suicide. Like, suicide is not a curse word, say the least. It's not like the F bomb. That is really messed up, and really they should at least stop doing that, is all I'm going to say. That's probably the most annoying part about it, because like I said, the video does a better job, but the most annoying part is it's not the creator's fault. Everyone cannot say it. Like, even Source Brew in a recent Good Iceberg couldn't even tell about a whole situation involving Call of Duty Black Ops, the first game, because apparently, oh no, it has guns, bang bang. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you can't just censor that, especially with this situation, because it is a very serious situation that needs to be tackled. I myself went through it, so I know what I'm talking about. This is a very serious situation. So, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. And again, I am sorry if this is not kind of. I'm just personally doing it because I don't know if this video is going to help much. But I do know this. The main lesson of here is, yeah, really, even without the whole thing, because again, if you want more details, go look it up. But yeah, suicide is not the answer, to say the least. And if you are going through it, I do wish you the best. I don't know how I could help you, or no one, or whoever can, excuse me. But, just know that things might get better if you can also take advantage of it. Like I said, I make sure to take advantage each and every step of the way. Um, like, really. But, just know that I can't stop you, but really do know that you will upset people even if you do attempt it. And it's not the answer. They're doing game in or game over isn't the answer. But anyways, this has been Foxcat. Snapping out over here. Bye bye.